Apathy sucks. But I'm going to give you some tools to punch that sucker down. I'm Park Doc. I'm a board-certified neurologist and movement disorder specialist. And I think apathy is one of the most difficult symptoms to live with. It's also one of the hardest to treat. It's right up there with fatigue. So as I mentioned in part 1 on apathy, apathy is a different brain circuit than depression. So we need different medications. Antidepressants won't work. And in fact, they can make your apathy worse, but that's another reel. Just like there is freezing of gait, I think of apathy as freezing of motivation. So apathy occurs when there is a circuit failure between the deep parts of your brain, where dopamine and reward live, and the front of your brain, where decision and action live. The medications I'm going to discuss boost the signal between your reward center and your action center. The meds that target this pathway are acetylcholine and dopamine. Acetylcholine is involved in attention and dopamine is involved in reward. I'm going to discuss 3 groups of drugs that will help us with this. Those are drugs that boost acetylcholine, drugs that boost dopamine, and 3 stimulants. I like to start with the medications that boost acetylcholine. We usually think of these as memory medications, but they can also boost the drive to engage. Dopamine, we know this is involved in reward and motivation, and dopamine can help bridge a motivation gap. Think of apathy as a high resistance gas pedal, and dopamine acts like grease to kind of loosen that up and make it easier to get going. Stimulants, these drugs act like a nudge to your brain. They create a sharp and temporary increase in both dopamine and norepinephrine in the front of your brain. So they kind of act like jumper cables for your motivation. Now for the actual medications themselves. The ones that boost acetylcholine are called cholinesterase inhibitors, and those you might know better as donepezil and rivastigmine. They come in both pill and patch form. The second group are your dopamine drugs. Now, in the literature, the thing that's mentioned the most are dopamine agonists. Proceed with caution, because while apathy is low motivation, dopamine agonists can cause compulsive motivation, compulsive behavior. So we really need to proceed with caution because you want to flip the switch too much in the other way. I say optimize your levodopa as much as possible. I save dopamine agonists for when it's absolutely necessary. And I did caution that antidepressants can make apathy worse, but there is one exception, and that is the antidepressant bupropion, which you might know as Wellbutrin. This one acts primarily on dopamine and therefore does not worsen your apathy. In fact, it's good for it. Lastly, stimulants. So Ritalin is the medication that is most studied in regards to apathy, but there is some good evidence also for Adderall and even non-stimulant medications, Strattera, which works on norepinephrine. And of course, don't forget about building and keeping those routines. Do it before you want to or you're ready to. And just one word of caution, because this is real talk here, okay? Normally when somebody doesn't want to do something like go to a party, at the end, they're kind of glad that they did it. Unfortunately, that might not always happen. You might not have that great feeling afterwards, but I want you to do it anyway. It's still good for your brain. And things can get worse. We want to keep that apathy from spiraling, okay? And exercising that brain. So I shared a lot of information here. So save it for future reference and to use it in a discussion with your neurologist or your GP. And please, share this with somebody who you think might be suffering from apathy so they can use these tools as well. As always, be well, and I'll see you around.